Alright, today I'm going to go over film cameras. Got a lot here. I'm going to go over some of the features and maybe help you decide which type of film camera you'd like to get. All these film cameras right here, if you're just getting the body, you could purchase them for around $10 or $15 in the used market off eBay. So uh, let's start off here. Right here you got these older style. You'll notice them that they're usually black and have the silver here. And then there's some that are all black, but they have that blocky type of look to them. These are all the older ones, so these are probably from the 70s and 80s. Let's start by telling you what they have in them. All these are going to be manual focus. So if you're out, you love autofocus and you just want to kind of do a lot more stuff auto instead of manual, you might look to these cameras over here. I'm going to go over for a second. But I enjoy using these because they're manual, so it takes a little bit more effort to get a great shot out of these things. But they do have one of the advantages of these. They do have a light meter in them. So when you're the light meter, the batteries in these are cheap. So most of them are like watch batteries. I bought this LR44s that will work in this camera and some of these other ones. Some of the other older ones you might have to search for a battery. I recommend Ace Hardware's usually can find the battery that you need. You'll have to Google it, find out. But these are $1. I bought this for $1 at the dollar store, so you could use these. And all the what the battery does, the only thing it does is it uses the light meter in there. So you might be able to find a camera cheaper because the light meter doesn't work. Or if you buy one not knowing if the light meter works and it doesn't work, you could use the Sunny 16 rule. If you've taken a photography class, they might have talked about it in that. You could Google it, and it kind of gives you a way to figure out your exposure and everything without a light meter. A lot of times the light meters in these, they probably don't work the best anyway, so you might invest in a external light meter to kind of get you some good readings out of that. So as far as ones I would recommend in this one, if you're going to take a photography class, I'm assuming the professor, this would probably be one of the ones he would recommend to you. K1000, because it's easy to find. I think it started in 76 is when they released it, and they made that all the way to 97 or something like that. Like 20 years in production this thing has been made. It's quite a different from nowadays cameras. As you know, the sensors keep on changing and the technology keeps on moving further. So these are just, there's a shutter and no mechanical, not a lot of technology goes into them. So some of these models they made for many years. So this is one I recommend because you could get it. Because there were so many made, since it was made for 20 years. At the time, it was a cheaper one, but everybody would buy it since it was cheaply made. And another great thing about this is Pentax. Pentax uses the Pentax K-mount system. So like this lens right here, I could use on my modern day Pentax DSLR, which is very cool. But Pentax also, they had many generic cameras like Sears. Sears had a Ricoh camera, and it also used the Pentax K-mount lenses, so you can find some other third-party lenses. Some of the other ones would be Vivitar and Focal, and they might have that K-mount. So yeah, this is one I'd recommend. Here's just a few other ones. Canon, this is the Canon TX. They're pretty good. The only thing about this, their mounting system on this is the old FD mounting system. It sucks. It has these two pins on there, and it's kind of hard to get on and off the camera. So I don't really recommend that, but if you want to stay with your Canon stuff, their lenses do not work on modern day DSLRs, but I'll be going over some of these here in a second. If there is a very good camera though, Canon AE1, that's one another your photography professor might recommend getting. So it's it's good, but it uses a different type of battery, and the batteries are a little bit more expensive. It's batteries like this, but it's a little bit smaller, and it fits there in the side. I don't have a AE1 here right now. There's lots of Minoltas. This is a Konica, sorry. And this is the even older film lenses. This is the Pentax Honeywell Spotmatic. It uses a old screw mount mounting system for your lenses, so it's really cool. I really like these because they just kind of screw on, easy to fit on lenses. This is more from the 60s and 70s. I think they made these, but you might find that. And the same thing with these Pentax lenses. That was kind of a universal. The screw mount was universal, or not universal, but a lot of other manufacturers made that screw mount lenses, so you might be able to find some. There's even some German glass that you could find out there that will fit on these. Some of the German, if you might know, German film cameras are very sought after. There's one called, some of the ones from Germany. There's Pinacon. Of course, Leica will use a different mounting system than this. And then there's another one, escapes me right now. But those, I buy those Pinacon lenses, and they fit on here, and the lenses are very good. The Pentax lenses are good as well. So that's those. So if you want to get one where you're going to be all manual, and it's going to be more of a effort for you, and actually, I would recommend these just because you'll learn your settings a lot more. If you think you know your settings on a DSLR, and you go over here and then you try to do this total manual, you might be surprised. I don't know my stuff as well as I thought I did. So this will kind of get you be a little bit more challenging as far as photography is concerned. Then, like I said, some of these models they made for many years. Then technology evolved, and they came out with the autofocus cameras and a lot more features to them. So you came out with these autofocus. So the autofocus system kept on getting better and better. So they released these models more often. So it's kind of like nowadays with the sensors coming along, they'll get a new camera come out every 2 years or something from the same company. So that's what you'll get from them. Right here I got a Pentax. This is the ZX60. There's plenty of different ZXs. The thing to look about when you're getting these to find out how auto they are. So if you look up here, you can see there's no dials and stuff. I kind of like it more like the modern day DSLR. Here's a Nikon. It has the dials here, so you could switch it to your basic modes without having to fiddle around with some buttons here. It has it here, but so just keep that in mind. This is a Canon one, and it's very good too. This is a Rebel X. The Rebel X and the Rebel G are ones that would probably find a lot of. They sold a lot of those too. And Rebel XS, I think, is the other one. Okay, so the things about these, they'll have autofocus and everything. You just slap it into auto and shoot away. And as far as the film is concerned, it will automatically load your film. You'll just put it in there, pull the film out a little bit, shut the door, and it will automatically load the film. With these other ones, you'll have to manually load them here in the back of the camera. So other things about these that you might find kind of annoying is the batteries are expensive. So we got just some batteries here, and these might look a little weird to you because they're not typical AA, AAA batteries. These are batteries that can cost you about $14. So a price will add up, especially if you leave these cameras on. So like if you're using a Canon, I get these all the time in the mail, and they've just let the batteries go dead. This L right here is not on and off. It's just put it on L. If you got the batteries in there, that is off. So that will keep your battery from draining down. If you leave it over on something like this, your battery will die. And at $14 a pop, it's kind of annoying. So there's that. And then most of these, if you have your, say you have a Nikon, you have a Canon, you have a Pentax DSLR, guess what? The lenses that you currently have for your DSLR will probably work on these cameras, and vice versa. If you buy like this Pentax, this lens is actually this Pentax. I already have a lens on here, the 28 to 90 zoom lens. Well, guess what? This lens is going to work on my K1 or my KS2 camera when I put it on that body. So it's a good way to find a lens cheap, actually. So and as far as film is concerned, you don't have to manually load the film. You could just pop it in here, and bzzz, it will load up the film for you automatically and let you know up here if it's loaded correctly or not. So there's your two types of cameras. Just a quick overview. But if you have any questions or comments, you could leave it below, and I'll try to answer it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. I've got plenty other videos on all sorts of photography stuff. Thanks for watching.